So, I believe you can hear me? I'm not convinced. It says no data. Let's see. Okay, maybe you can. So, can you all hear me? Well, I think we've only got a couple in at the moment. So, can you hear me? We should be. I should be live. If not, I've got a problem somewhere. Wow, this is really weird. Okay, hello everybody. Can you hear me now? With a bit of luck, I am now live. I'm sorry about that. I had problems with my connection. It just suddenly disappeared on me. You'll have to bear with me a second. Find April. And we're almost there. So, let's see. Hello, can you hear me? Yes, brilliant. Thank you, Patricia. That's what I needed to know. Okay, so sorry about the warm-up problems. Okay, if you remember the other day, we were doing an article about intuitive thinking. Hello. So yeah, I haven't said the hellos yet. Wow. So hello Patricia, hello Veggie, hello Vitali, hello 40, hello Stas, Snoopy, Veggie, Malak, Katia, brilliant, and Sybil. So, and Renyard as well. Okay, this article was about the difference between intuitive thinking and logical thinking, and going with our gut feeling or our hunches. And we're going to continue with that. So let's start straight into this. Is there a chance that racism, ageism, or sexism is fogging, cloaking, smoking, garbling, clouding your judgment? You might be especially wary of what your gut is telling you. In general, however, his research confirms that an expert's intuitive feelings can be an important sources of information and should play some role in the decision-making process. Okay, so with the answer to this, there is one very clear answer. Let me get rid of this bit here at the top, and let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, yes, so I think for this question there is one very clear answer that is a collocation. I think another one would fit, but it's not the collocation. So let me just read it again. Is there a chance that racism, ageism, or sexism is fogging, cloaking, smoking, garbling, clouding your judgment? You might be especially wary of what your gut is telling you. In general, however, his research confirms that an expert's intuitive feelings can be important sources of information and should play some role in the decision-making process. So, brilliant. Let's see. We've got clouding for Vitali, for Veggie, and for Patricia. That's brilliant. And for 40 as well. Okay, so clearly you know the answer to this. What is the other word that would fit but is not as good? So I need this in capital letters. It's clouding your judgment. This is a collocation. Something clouds your judgment. Yeah, my judgment was clouded. So what about a second answer for this one? Yeah? And while we're at it as well, this verb to garble. If you garble, you're speaking very, very rapidly. It's not clear what you're saying. Or maybe if you've got a very bad connection with your mobile, the voice that you hear at the other end is garbled, it's unclear, you can't hear properly. Yeah, so you could have a garbled message, or somebody garbles when they're really nervous and excited. So, yes, cloud your judgment, distorting your judgment. Yeah, but what about a second choice now? Because you all got the first one very, very easily. But how about a second one? And I'll give you a clue. It's not garbling your judgment. Yeah? Okay, because to garble, to speak really rapidly and unclearly. Yeah, okay. So, I think you're probably sending out your answers for that. It's smoking your judgment. No, this doesn't fit at all. It's not very good. And to cloak means to cover. Yeah, this always makes me think of science fiction and cloaking devices for various different ships. But to cloak is to hide completely. A garbled version of. So, thank you, Vitali. Yes, and thank you, Veggie, as well. Okay, I think... and 40 goes for fogging as well. Fogging your judgment, it would work, but it's not the collocation. Something clouds your judgment. You don't see clearly. Yeah? Okay, so don't let your judgment be clouded by this. So yes, don't let your opinion of this stream be clouded by the fact that I had technical difficulties to start with. Yeah? So a garbled message, a garbled version, something that it doesn't make sense, it's not clear. Okay, don't overthink it. The power of intuitive decision making may be especially important when we are processing a high volume of complex information that is too difficult to remember precisely. In these cases, we can benefit from letting our minds wander to another unrelated activity, as the conscious brain cracks, crushes, bites, crumbles, crunches the data that makes the decision for us. And this, I think, is a nice, challenging question. Absolutely, P. Fogging or misting as a second answer to the previous one. I'm going to go up one more. Yes, that fits quite nicely, I think. Okay, so the key word is data, or more normally numbers. And one of these words talks about the working out of statistics, the working out of data. So we're starting to get some answers. The unconscious brain cracks the data is what everyone's saying. Crack here, solve. Quite interesting. Okay, so I'm going to wait for some more answers, because what I'm looking for is, for example, to the numbers. Ooh, good. I'm really happy about this one. I've got you all on the run. I personally think cracks would fit, but it's not the best answer. Yeah? Yeah, so now you've all got a problem, because we've got cracks for Vitali, for Veggie, and for Sibel. So let me read it again. This is a collocation you need to know. Don't overthink it. The power of intuitive decision making may be especially important when we are processing a high volume of complex information that is too difficult to remember precisely. In these cases, we can benefit from letting our minds wander to another unrelated activity, as the unconscious brain cracks, crushes, bites, crumbles, crunches the data and makes the decision for us. Okay, so we've got some changes of heart here. This is very good. Yes, thank you, Vitali. Okay, this is the idea. So let's see. To crush, to make flat, no, it doesn't work. To bite the data, no. To crumble, you crumble bread to throw to the birds or to the ducks or to animals, and you don't crumble it. As I said, I guess cracks works, but the answer I'm looking for is crunches. Okay, we have this this phrase, to crunch the numbers, to do the number crunching. Well done, Patricia. Crunches, it's crunches, to crunch the numbers. Yeah. This is going to be easy to do because the computer is going to crunch the numbers for us. Number crunching. Hi Malak, great to see you. So this is one for you to add to your vocabularies. To crunch the numbers, to do the mathematics, to do the difficult bit. Number crunching. That's the phrase I was looking for. Absolutely, Vitali. To crack the data, I guess just about, Renyard. But I think you crack a problem, you crack a solution. Yeah, you use the data to crack the problem. I guess you could use cracks the data, but crunches is just so much better. Okay, yeah, so computers crunch the numbers for us nowadays. Yeah, number crunching. It's a good collocation for you to add to your vocabularies. Okay, so well, we're going to have another one now. In a series of experiments, researchers presented participants with garrulous, wandering, lasting, winding, lengthy details about a series of apartments. You crack a code. Exactly, Vitali, thank you. You crack a code. Yeah, you crack a problem. You crack a difficulty. Yeah. Whereas you have to crunch the statistics. You have to crunch the numbers. Yeah, I guess this is this idea of you munching them. Munch, crunch, crunch, crunch. Okay, let me read again. In a series of experiments, researchers presented participants with garrulous, wandering, lasting, winding, lengthy details about a series of apartments. To crunch ideas. I'm wondering about that, Patricia. I guess you could crunch ideas. It's much more common for numbers. Crunch numbers. Yeah. I guess you could use it like that, metaphorically. To crunch ideas until you find a solution. So let's see. We've got lengthy for Vitali, for Musab, for Veggie, for 40, and for Renyard. Okay, so garrulous means somebody who talks and talks and talks and talks. Yeah, he's a really garrulous person. He's always talking. He never stops talking. Yeah. Wandering. Well, your mind could wander. To wander is to walk without any direction. Hello, Vibes. Great to see you. But I guess wandering details would be details that are not relevant. So Malak goes for lengthy as well. Lasting, well, it talks about duration. Yeah. But so if something's lasting, it creates a lasting impression in your mind. Yeah, but it's not right here. And winding, sinuous, wandering, going backwards and forwards. Okay, that's good. So lengthy for Patricia as well. It's okay, Vibes. I started a little bit late, but enjoy the replay. So very definitely. Recrunching. It's onomatopoeia, referring to the sound an abacus makes. That's really interesting. I really like that, Vitali. Yeah? Okay, so wool gathering. Yeah, wool gathering. Yeah, I guess is wandering, but the right answer here is lengthy. Okay, lengthy details. They're very long and boring and not very helpful. Okay, after forming their first impressions, some of the participants were encouraged to sorry, I started too early. A winding path. Long-winded. Yes, you definitely could. If something's long-winded, it's lengthy. And that's actually why one of the reasons I put it. Yeah, very good. Rambling details. Yeah, I like rambling details as well. That works very nicely, Reynard. After forming their first impressions, some of the participants were encouraged to constantly weigh up the different options before making their choice. The rest were asked to try a series of anagrams. A bother, concern, trouble, distraction, that was designed to prevent the participants from using their analytical processing to come up, to come with their decision on the apartments. So, we got answers already. Okay, so notice, Vitali, come up with, but come up with isn't there. Yeah, you've got either up or with, but not come up with. Yeah, you need to choose one of the three. Okay, let me read again. After forming their first impressions, some of the participants were encouraged to consciously weigh up the different options before making their choice. The rest were asked to try a series of anagrams. A bother, concern, trouble, distraction that was designed to prevent the participants from using their analytical processing to come up their decision, to come to their decision, to come with their decision on the apartments. Okay, so we've got, okay, you're changing your minds now. So let's see, Vitali goes distraction and so does 40. And then Vitali goes come to. Patricia with distraction, vibes for distraction and to. Sybil come distraction and come up. And Quarenta's changed his mind to come to, and Reynard goes distraction and come up. So, firstly, come up, you need with to make it work. And Patricia's gone for to as well. Okay, so this is very definitely a distraction. Distraction. Yeah, a bother. A bother is something that worries you. A concern is a bother as well. And a trouble, no, but this is distracting your attention. So, Musab, the first answer is a distraction, something that distracts your attention. Yeah, and then very definitely the second one, to come to a decision, to come up with a decision, but to come to a decision. And as there's no with the up or up with the with, then it's got to be come to. Yeah, to arrive at, to come to a decision. Okay, this next one is going to be really easy because we've done this one, but we did this one a moment ago, but it's another very good example. We can benefit from letting our minds wander to another unrelated activity as the unconscious brain chomps, cracks, gnaws, crunches, chews the data and makes the decision for us. So this one's easy. What can I say come to a realization as with conclusion? Absolutely, of course, you can definitely vibes. To come to a conclusion, to come to a realization, it's perfect. You see, we've got vibes with this one as well because he missed the previous one. Okay, so to chomp is to bite on. He's chomping on his sandwich. He's chomping on his breakfast cereal. Crack meaning to solve, but it's not the best answer here, vibes. To gnaw, a dog gnaws on a bone, to bite at something. Notice the pronunciation, as in neither nor, the G is silent. Okay, so you've realised, the rest of you have realised this. Yes, I know, vibes, and that's why you would know that cracks is not the right answer. I guess it could chew the data, yeah, but as before, become conscious, very definitely. So vibes, to crunch data, to crunch numbers, crunching then chomps. I guess chomps would work metaphorically, and musab for crunches as well. Absolutely, that's very good, P. Yeah, I think chews or chomps the data would work, but crunches is by far and out the best. Okay, let's try something more more difficult then. Surprisingly, the researchers found the participants who had thought more carefully about their choice were considerably less likely to pick the apartment that had objectively the biggest number of attractive attributes. Their attempts to analyze the different options had dirtied, soiled, muddied, earthed their judgment, leading them to choose one of the less desirable options. So this one's going to be interesting. Yeah. So again, surprisingly, the researchers found the participants who had thought more carefully about their choice were considerably less likely, interesting information, to pick the apartment that had objectively the biggest number of attractive attributes. Their attempts to analyze the different options had dirtied, soiled, muddied, earthed their judgments, leading them to choose one of the less desirable options. The gnawing of teeth, it's the gnashing of teeth. Yeah, it's gnashing. The wailing and gnashing of teeth. Wailing and gnashing of teeth. But clearly, gnawing is related to this. Because you're artistic, Patricia. That's why you're obsessed with metaphors. Yeah? Yeah? an impressionistic view of the world. Okay, so we've got the answers coming through. We've got a muddied for Vitali, a muddied for Musab, a muddied for Patricia as well. Okay, so what is to earth? To earth. That's an interesting one. To soil. Okay, so to dirty, you know. I'm certain of that. Yeah? To soil means to make dirty. I've soiled my shirt. Yeah? And soil is a synonym for earth. But to earth, well, I'll give you a second to actually give your ideas on the meaning of to earth. Yeah? It's in a completely different context as well. Okay, so very definitely the answer here is muddied. Yeah, it muddied their judgment. Earth doesn't fit at all, Renyard. Okay, to muddy somebody's judgment, yeah? That to cloud their judgment as we had before, or even to fog their judgment as well might work. Yeah? To muddy the waters, to make something unclear so that you can't actually see very clearly what's happening. Yeah? So to muddy the waters, to make something less obvious. Earth to ground, as in making electrical equipment safe. Exactly, Vitali. Soiled garments, that's a great example. Dirty garments. So, as Vitali says, to earth means to connect electrically to the earth, the green wire. Okay, so earth, it doesn't work at all. To muddy your judgment, to cloud your judgment, yeah? To soil or to dirty, to make something unclean, yeah? Unsoiled, clean. He has a completely unsoiled reputation. Okay. The people who had been distracted by the anagrams, in contrast, had been forced to rely on their intuitive impressions, which turned over, which turned in, which turned by, which turned out to be more accurate. Okay. Metaphors should always be used sparingly, like perfume. I like that. That's very good. Okay, so this is a phrasal verb that I think you know. To result, the final result, how something finishes, the final result. Okay, so we've got turn out from Vibes, we've got turn out from Vitali, we've got turned out from Sibel. Okay, so while we're at it, could you give me another meaning of the phrasal verb to turn out? How to say metaphorically to get someone's judgment to earth. Make it more primitive, less imaginative. Bring them back to, bring somebody back to earth. Bring somebody down to earth, I would say. Earth sentiments. I think that actually works quite well, Patricia. Earth sentiments, I love it. Yeah? Get back in the real world. So Musab says turned over, Malak says turned out. Crunch a database, or in maths to work out, to solve. Yes, Vibes, that's where you use it. Yeah? It's to do the mathematics, to do the working out part. To turn out, yes, very definitely. To turn out, to turn out, very definitely. Come out well, as in a recipe. So how did the match turn out? What was the final result? How did the party turn out? Yeah, was it good? Was it bad? Was it interesting? Yeah, so things will turn out. But also we have another meaning for turn out, as in to be present. So a lot of people turned out to watch the concert. The turnout of people, the number of people that turned out was very low. Okay, so yeah, more people turned out for the live stream, this live stream last week than today, but it doesn't matter. Turn out a light. That would also do, Malak. I love it. Yeah, I hadn't been thinking of that. To turn out the light. Yeah, okay. And also, though, to turn out, to appear, to be present. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Turn out, to attend, to transpire, to switch off. Heh. Okay, that's great. That's great, P. Yes, because, well, it's not very real perfume, I find. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to try another one. Okay. He turned out to be a liar. That's perfect. That's a perfect example. Yeah, Renyard. Okay. While some studies have suggested we can go with our first impression immediately, there often does seem to be an advantage in delaying the decision as we focus on some other activity. According to Marlène Abadi from Marseille University, the pause allows the unconscious mind to get an accurate kernel, gist, theme, motif from the complex information that has been presented, which will in turn increase the accuracy of our judgment. Hello, Love Literature. Thank you. Very kind of you. So, this one I think you should know. Yeah? So, let me read it again. While some studies have suggested we can go with our first impression immediately, there often does seem to be an advantage in delaying the decision, as we focus on some other activity. According to Marlène Abadi from Marseille University, the pause allows the unconscious mind to get an accurate kernel, gist, theme, motif from the complex information that had been presented, which will in turn increase the accuracy of our intuitive judgment. So we've got two answers from Vitali and from Urenyard. I'll give the rest of you an opportunity to do this. While we're looking at that, what does this word kernel mean? Notice it sounds exactly the same as colonel, a colonel in the army. Yeah, colonel and colonel. So what does this word kernel mean? Can it mean donned up, turned out in? Yeah, he arrived turned out in a suit, very definitely. He turned out in his Sunday best. Okay, and we got an answer from Patricia as well. So I'm still looking for the meaning of this word kernel. Salt then. Yes, salt in moderation is a very good thing. Okay, so give me the gist. External coat. Melodious plot. Melodious plot. Okay, yes. Yes, there is. Okay, low. Melodious plot. Melodious plot. I think there is. Very definitely. A kernel, a seed, a grain, the nut inside. We very often use it to talk about the centre of something. In foreign language learning, there is a method called reading for gist, which implies the comprehension of the main idea of the text, without details. Okay, you've got the shell on the outside and the kernel in the middle. Okay, so definitely to get the gist of something, to get a general understanding of it. Yeah? A theme. I think a theme is an idea that runs through something. And a motif is very clearly a little design. So a man on a polo horse might be a motif for a type of shirt. Kernel, core. This is used in programming. Windows has its kernel. Yes, the central part of it. That's very good. Okay, so to get the gist, you read something for the gist, for the general impression. Okay, I'm going to do one more to make up for starting late, and then after that we're going to stop. So, this guidance may be useful in many similar scenarios in which we are forming impressions after an information overcharge, overload. I've written overcharge twice, so it's not. Or overtax. Shell. Yeah, that's all right, Patricia. A motif is a little design. Yeah, it's a little drawing. It represents something. So I guess the crescent moon is a motif for the Muslim world. Yeah, the hammer and sickle is a Soviet motif. It's a motif is a design. Yeah, very often it's something that's repeated. Yeah, so just a little drawing that indicates something usually. Okay, so let me read again. This guidance may be useful in many similar scenarios in which we are forming impressions after an information overcharge, overload, overtax. So we've got overload from Vitali, overload from Sybil, and overload from Patricia. Okay, if you're overtaxed, that means you have to work too hard. So the carrying a very heavy load overtaxed the engine of the vehicle. Assonance. The moan of doves in immemorial elms and murmur of innumerable bees. That's lovely. Overload. Afrill. Okay, so overload for vibes. Very definitely overload is the answer. And for Renyard as well. Yeah, overload means too much of something at the same time. To overtax means to make something work too hard. Yeah? So if you're to tax means to do something that's difficult, something that's challenging. Yeah? So to be overtaxed is to have too much work, too many things to do and not enough time. So I guess that's a good point for us to stop, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for coming. Let me put a mark here. Next one's going to be the 3rd of May. Okay, thank you all for coming. It's been wonderful to have you. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties right at the beginning, but, well, it all worked out in the end. It's been a pleasure to have you. So thank you, Sybil. Thank you, Renyard. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Vitaly. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for all your unsolicited alerts. Great to see you, Vibes. Thank you for coming. And who else? Thank you, Quarenta. Thank you, Love. You can only identify assonance, Love, by thinking about the native pronunciation and how the words run together and the different sounds. So thank you all. Thank you for coming, Harriet Park. It's been great to have you. If the gods permit it, I shall do another one of these next Tuesday morning, and I will be live streaming on Sunday evening as normal as well. Very good work. Thank you very much. I enjoy this group because it's a lot less taxing. It's a lot more relaxing and it's easy. So thank you all for coming, and bye.